Y'all, what in the Love and Hip Hop Law and Order crossover episode is going on in that courtroom? Because this ain't just messy. This is biblical level betrayal with a side of courtroom chaos. Have you ever seen a grown man get emotionally KO'd while his ex gets verbally dragged by a fellow castmate under oath? No. Well, buckle up, because Stevie J just spun the courtroom into a full-blown reality show finale and Bambi. Oh, sis didn't even see the bus coming before Stevie threw her under it and reversed 3 times. How do you go from marriage and brand deals to exposed recordings, financial schemes, and possible jail time? All in front of rolling cameras. And Mama D quoting Bible verses in the hallway like she just caught the Holy Ghost. And Scrappy. That man sat there looking like he just found out Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and his prenup were all fake. So what did Stevie J really say on the stand? What receipts got leaked? And why is Bambi's name trending next to embezzlement? And she said what? Don't go anywhere, because what's happening in this courtroom ain't just scandal, it's legacy. Legacy level sabotage in 4K. And just when you thought that courtroom couldn't get any wilder, Scrappy's legal team decided to flip the script and detonate the entire hearing with a move so cold-blooded even the judge had to pause. Leaked text messages hit the record like a punch to the gut. Messages between Bambi and some unidentified business manager where she casually talked about liquidating Scrappy's studio equipment, including his prized custom microphone. Like it was some leftover yard sale junk. Scrappy? That man sat there frozen, his jaw clenched so tight you could practically hear his teeth cracking. And then came the audio recording. An actual voice memo allegedly pulled straight from Stevie J's phone, capturing Bambi in her own voice saying, "He ain't serious about music no more. I'm just protecting my future. Scrappy will get over it." The entire courtroom gasped like they were watching a slow-motion car crash. But that wasn't even the end of that hour. Word spread fast that a scuffle had broken out in the courthouse bathroom between Bambi and one of Scrappy's cousins. Apparently, Bambi got heated, launched her Dior handbag across the room, and security had to intervene. The bag now has a visible dent, and TMZ didn't get the footage. But you know who almost did? Mama Do, who claimed she was filming from inside a stall but accidentally deleted it. Unhung, sure. The energy in the room hit fever pitch when Stevie, still not done with his testimony, looked directly at Bambi and said, "You tried to play me like a pawn, but I'm the king on this board, baby girl." The judge didn't even bother stopping the gasps that followed. Bambi just muttered lame under her breath, but the tremble in her hand said otherwise. Then, out of nowhere, Mama D leaped up in the middle of court, draped in a fur coat that looked like it belonged to a Tyler Perry villain, and hollered, "Tell the truth, Bambi. Tell the truth." Security scrambled. The judge's gavel couldn't restore order, and Mama D kept screaming. Y'all tried to silence Scrappy, but God gone reveal it all. Outside, courtroom sketches began circulating, and Twitter did what Twitter does best: blew up. Sketches of Stevie J winking on the stand, Bambi looking like a frozen mannequin, and Scrappy with his head in his hands went viral in seconds. Hashtags like Free Scrappy, Stevie Sneech Son, and Mama DeFore Judge started trending faster than Bambi's PR team could issue their week boilerplate statements saying she was confident the truth would prevail. But baby, the streets weren't buying it. Not when screenshots, voice notes, courtroom whispers were painting a picture dirtier than a Love and Hip Hop reunion uncut special. And then, just as the judge tried to call for a break, the back door opened and in walked the witness nobody had on their bingo card: Erica Dixon. Yes, Scrappy's ex. Yes, the same Erica who once said she would never get involved in this mess again. She walked in like she had been sent by divine order, dressed in all black with oversized shades and the energy of a woman ready to bury someone with facts. Bambi didn't even look her way. Erica calmly approached the bailiff and handed over a flash drive on it, alleged surveillance footage from a private event just 2 months ago. The footage reportedly showed Bambi bragging to partygoers about using Scrappy's name to secure a six-figure brand deal without his knowledge, and the words she allegedly used. "I don't gotta tell Scrappy nothin'. His name gets the bag whether he knows it or not." The silence in the courtroom could have shattered glass. Bambi's lawyer leaned in to whisper, but she waved him off like she still had control, which was rich, considering the judge looked like she was 2 eye rolls away from contempt charges. Meanwhile, Stevie sat in the gallery, grinning like he was watching a season finale he produced. And right when things were about to settle down, another twist exploded. Scrappy's legal team introduced screenshots from an Instagram story posted by one of Bambi's close friends, an alleged frenemy named Tasha K. No, not that Tasha K, but close enough. The stories were messy. One showed Bambi sipping champagne with the caption, "When you drain a man emotionally and financially, but still walk out with the house." The bag and the followers unbothered. The judge had to ask if the caption was satire or sincerity. Bambi shrugged and said, "Depends on who's watching." Even the court reporter paused typing for a second, and then, like he had one more grenade to toss. Stevie requested to submit a sealed folder labeled 2018 to 2021 hidden recordings. The courtroom lost it. The judge allowed it but said it would be reviewed in chambers. But whispers spread fast, saying those recordings allegedly included private convos with investors, voice notes of Bambi mocking Scrappy, and even discussions about how to shift royalties behind his back. Scrappy looked like the air had been pulled out of him. Bambi stayed stone-faced, but her nails tapped against the table so hard the mic picked it up. Just when court was dismissed for the day, young Jock popped up not to testify, but just because he heard it was lit. He posted an Instagram story in the hallway that said, "Man, it's giving Zeus Network in real life." And people lost their minds, but the judge wasn't laughing. When everyone filed back in, she delivered the statement of the day. This: "Court is not a reality show, and it will not be treated as one. Any further disruptions will result in immediate contempt." Good luck with that, Your Honor. This courtroom had turned into a circus, and the ringleaders weren't even done yet. Asterisk. The next morning, the courthouse didn't feel like a legal building anymore. Felt like the red carpet of a reality TV finale mixed with a true crime documentary premiere. Reporters were swarming, gossip bloggers had ring lights set up outside, and the audience filing in looked more like VH1 extras than legal observers. Why? Because today was the day the contents of Stevie J's sealed folder were finally being played aloud. The prosecution rolled out a speaker setup like it was a press conference, and the room went pin-drop silent as the first clip started. Rolling, a muffled voice note began to play, time-stamped in late 2020. And there it was, Bambi's voice, crystal clear, saying, "I didn't even love him for real. I just needed that married title for tax benefits and brand deals. That's it." Gasps flew from every corner of the courtroom. Scrappy sat motionless, his eyes glassy, fists clenched, looking like every ounce of trust he ever had just been dug up and set on fire. Mama D covered her mouth with one hand and clutched her pearls with the other, whispering prayers that sounded more like curses. Stevie J leaned back with both arms behind his head like a man who just hit the game-winning shot. Clip 2 dropped, and this time it was Bambi speaking on a call with a woman who still hasn't been publicly identified, saying, "I got the login to his distro account. If I push some payments through the consulting shell company, ain't nobody gonna trace it, not even him." You could hear the judge exhale. Scrappy's lawyer immediately requested a forensic audit, and the judge granted it on the spot. Bambi didn't say a word, but the way she clenched her jaw, that tension was louder than any objection. Then came the third and final clip, an emotional uppercut. Bambi was heard mocking Scrappy's depression, laughing and saying, "He always talking about mental health." I'm like, boy, ain't no therapist gonna save you from me? I'm the trauma. The courtroom collectively lost its breath. Scrappy looked like he'd been shot through the chest. His lawyer stood up and addressed the judge directly. "Your Honor, based on this evidence, we are now formally pursuing both financial damages and restitution for emotional abuse." Bambi's team didn't say a word. They didn't even blink. The silence was so thick it felt like the walls were sweating. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get more twisted, the forensic accountant came back with preliminary findings. Right there, in real time. They exposed a hidden joint business account under the name Royal Brand Management LLC, an account, Bambi, opened without Scrappy's knowledge. But the Conner, none other than Kendra Robinson, young Jock's wife. That courtroom went nuclear. Apparently, payments from fake family-friendly endorsements featuring Bambi and Scrappy were being routed through this account. But Scrappy had never received a dime. The judge's face turned bright red and she asked, "Is this a business partnership or a conspiracy?" Kendra, who wasn't in court, quickly released a statement via her rep saying, "I was unaware of any deceitful intentions behind the company I joined as a silent investor at Bambi's request. I have since divested and will cooperate fully with any legal review." Bambi, she didn't even flinch. But her lawyer looked like he was ready to melt through the floor. They asked for a 15-minute recess. Bambi walked out with her head low for the first time since this whole circus began. Back inside, things only got messier. The courtroom buzzed with whispers as Love and Hip Hop cast members lit up social media. Tokyo Vanity tweeted, "I tried to tell y'all Bambi was different. This ain't a plot twist, it's a plot exposed." A final witness was called to testify, and nobody saw her coming, Bambi's own sister. She appeared via video call, and she was in tears. She claimed Bambi pressured her into signing false invoices for companies that didn't exist. All for image and brand alignment. "It's not fraught unless they catch you," Bambi allegedly told her. That was the moment the judge had enough. Scrappy couldn't even look at Bambi anymore. He buried his face in his hands while Mama D whispered, "God ain't sleep," like it was a hymn. Then the judge made her move. She ordered an immediate freeze on all of Bambi's personal and business assets. She granted Scrappy full temporary custody of their child, stating that until the court could determine the financial and psychological safety of the child's environment, custody would remain with the father. Bambi jumped up screaming, "You can't take my child," before being restrained by her attorney and a deputy. Cameras flashed through the hallway windows as chaos erupted. Outside, Stevie J gave a petty little interview to a YouTube channel, smiling and saying, "That's why you don't play games with real ones. Karma, don't miss." Scrappy left through the back entrance. No words, no cameras, just a man shattered by betrayal. Later that evening, an anonymous source leaked a text from Bambi to her lawyer that allegedly read, "I don't care what I gotta give up. Just don't let me go to jail." Word spread fast. That court resumed privately in chambers, and that Bambi had accepted a plea deal. Terms included full relinquishment of all royalties tied to Scrappy's work, repayment of over $300,000 in misappropriated funds, mandatory psychiatric evaluation, 6 months of supervised visitation, and enrollment in parental responsibility classes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Bambi went from glam reality queen to courtroom cautionary tale. VH1 quietly issued a vague statement saying they were reevaluating future participation of all parties involved in the interest of brand integrity. Translation: they're jumping ship. Bambi deleted all her Instagram posts and removed Scrappy's name from her bio. Scrappy hasn't said a single word publicly. But one thing is clear, this wasn't just a messy breakup. This was a televised implosion of trust, reputation, and family, dressed in designer bags and sealed in betrayal. Bambi thought she was playing chess. Turns out she was the pawn. And now, the game's over. So now that the courtroom dust has settled, and the receipts have been aired like dirty laundry in high definition, we have to ask, was this justice or just another reality show gone to real? Did Bambi truly mastermind a financial scheme behind closed doors? Or is she just another name caught in Stevie J's revenge tour? And let's not forget Scrappy. Should he finally speak out and tell his side? Or let the silence remind us how deep the scars really go? This wasn't just drama. This was a dismantling of trust, love, and reputation on a public stage. And you know what? We're just getting started. So if you're still sitting there stunned, hit that like button, because this story had more twists than a soap opera marathon. Drop your hottest takes in the comments. Do you think the plea deal was fair? Is this the end of Bambi's storyline, or just the setup for her redemption arc? And don't forget to subscribe, because when the tea is this hot, we don't just sip it, we serve it flaming. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss the next expose. This isn't just gossip. This is a front row seat to the fall of a reality TV empire.